Hello again. We're back in Iowa. We're at one of the Healthy Gardens, Healthy Youth garden sites in Webster City. They're going to have raised bed gardens here, and we're going to talk about planting those in the classroom. Isn't that cool? Well, no, it's not cool. It's freezing out here. It's -2 degrees, and I'd rather talk about gardens inside the classroom. So come on, let's go. We're inside the classroom now in Webster City, Iowa, and we're with Mrs. Dawn Schultens, who is the second grade teacher, and she's going to have one of the earth box container gardens. And where are you going to put your garden?
Well, I'm thinking that we'll put it over here by the window for the light, but because it does face north, we may have to check to see if we can find some grow lights that we can use to provide enough light.
Good. Are your kids excited about this experience?
They're very excited.
All right.
They can't wait.
Very good. Well, the lessons that you're about to see are going to tell you how to plant a garden, how the students are going to make the choices on what your garden is going to look like. So enjoy.
So, raise your hand if you have ever seen a carpenter or construction worker building a home or a building. So, did they just start building that? Or did they have some kind of
They had a vote for it to see if they could keep
plan? Do you know what the name of the plan is if you're building something? It starts with a color.
a blueprint.
A blueprint. So if you have a plan for things, a lot of times you think they turn out better or worse? Better. So do you think a plan could help a gardener in a garden?
Yeah.
To plant things and figure out what they wanted to plant? How could a garden plan help a gardener? Let's have a couple ideas and then I have a fun story. How could a garden plan, or we could call it a blueprint, help a gardener? What do you think?
To tell them we're planting this, and that, and the color, have the name would be Operation Green.
Operation Green, okay.
Some plants need more amount of water, so if you plant them right next to each other, one plant could take all the water and the other wouldn't get any.
Okay.
Signs.
Signs. What would the signs be for?
The signs would be for to know which is which, because if they're just little things and you can't see them yet, you would be able to know.
Those would be markers or like name tags, right? I have a story about kind of a crazy lady. Her name is Rebecca Estelle. The name of the story is Too Many Pumpkins, and it's a story about what happens if someone doesn't have a very good garden. So what do you think about Esmeralda? Did she have, Rebecca Estelle, did she have a good plan for her garden? What was her plan? Did it include the pumpkins? But what did she do about the pumpkins once they started growing?
She ignored them.
She ignored them, and then what?
They grew larger.
They just kept growing anyway, yeah. So how did she solve the problem then? So what we're going to do, she had a plan for that part of her garden, and what we're going to do in this lesson is figure out how, and you guys are the teachers, because you're going to be teaching other fourth graders how to make a garden plan. So Mrs. Brockman said she was going to give you your partner groups, but I'm going to give each one of you, as you're going back to, well, maybe I'll have you move your seats first. It's called a garden grid, and this is what our plan is going to be. Carrots are the first one you told me. And then we also have beans.
Beans?
Yeah, Mrs. Brockman's writing them on the overhead, so you can just copy them right off there. Beans, tomatoes, peas, corn, rutabagas. You have a garden grid. I would like you just use this grid and plan your garden however you want without any directions. Your plan is the plan you make up in your head, and do it with your partner. And you guys decide how you want to plant these 6 things in your garden.
Anyway, so start from 11 and go all the way to 3. And then go up 3 over and 1.
What I would like you to do is hold your pictures, your garden plan up, and hold it all around so everyone in the class can see how different. And you know what? Turn them around backwards. We're having our garden art show, our garden plan show. Because you know what? Everybody had different ideas about how plants, because look, I see rows over there. I see boxes here that have letters for every kind of vegetable. I see some people use their straight edges. All of you had different ideas about a good plan for Rebecca Estelle's garden. Now lay your pictures down and I want you to think. What were some of the problems that you may have encountered when you were planning the garden with your partner? So if you had a problem figuring out how to plan your garden, where could you look to get advice? Any ideas about that? Awesome, thank you. We all will get along if we help each other, right?
At the right time.
All right, with your partner, the same partner that you just did your little garden plan with, I want you to go ahead and do it. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do these with your partner. Would you take your spinach leaves and lay them on top of your romaine? So that's your first layer. You can arrange it however you want. Another vegetable that you have on your plate is a radish. And radishes, this one got kind of slimy leaves, so I want to bring you a whole plant. Each one of these is a radish plant. So if I planted, how many radishes do you see on here? In this little bunch, count them.
Six.
So 6 little, these guys, that's 6 seeds. So if I planted them, I would have planted 6 seeds, I would have 6 radishes. So they don't take up a lot of room. There's the leaves. They were just selling them in a little cluster at the store. They're hooked together with a rubber band. And they are a really fast crop to grow. They're a cool season crop. Cool means you can plant it in April. And then, what are these little guys that are laying here? So a radish is that, what part of the plant is that you're eating?
The root.
It's a root, grows below the ground. You had carrots this morning, another root. You have little pieces of green onion. And this is the plant I invented. But you can sprinkle those on top. And did you see, I see the roots coming out. This grows below the ground. And did you know that onions like this, they're leaves? Because if you look at these little bitty things, you'll see that they would unwrap. And actually, I did cut up the leaves as well, because it's all edible. People chop up the little leaves. So that's another crop. You can let the onions grow all summer long in your garden, and they can be really fat, and you can harvest them in the fall. So go ahead and put those items on your wrap. And then I have some ranch. And if you would care to have ranch, got romaine, spinach, radish, green onion. And we'll let you vote 2 times. This is a really heavy. So this is a bell pepper, which would be called a sweet pepper. Quite often they put jalapeno peppers in salsa, which is the really spicy kind. If you don't want it to be spicy, you just put regular in. It also has onions in it, some of the garlic, and the secret ingredient that goes in, I don't know if it's in this one or not, but in some, and this is called a tomatillo, and it has a husk on it. In fact, see how I'm peeling this? I can get my knife from this morning and I'll wash it if you would like to try it. So I will cut it up on a plate and I'll let you guys go ahead and put your salsa on your package.
Salsa is good. The flavor is spicy.
Okay, how many people are in favor of tomato?
Get your garden grid back, flip it over to the new side, and Mrs. Brockman has one just like yours, and this is like a graph. And the little paper that I gave you, the plant spacing for square foot gardening, it tells us how much space a plant needs. An average raised garden bed, do you see where it goes from 1 to 15, 0 to 15 and 0 to 10? An average raised bed garden is 4 foot by 8 foot. So go up 4 feet and across 8 feet. And do that with your pencil. If we want to plant radishes, we would need 1 square and we would need 16 dots in the square, just like on your little square plant space spacing for garden rows. So pick a square and make your 16 dots, just like on the sheet. So what it's kind of like, it would look kind of like a patchwork quilt or a puzzle when you get all done with it. Now, you could do, how many squares do you need for a zucchini?
9.
You need 9, then you would plant 3 in the middle.
You're doing good.
That's basically what you did it there. Yep, so you did perfect.